Thank you for being on Testimony Thursday with Ernisa B. And I just wanted to start out with your journey, actually your genealogy. So where do you hail from? Where were you born?
In Columbia, Missouri. Columbia, Missouri, actually. I was raised in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. So that's where I was born. What else? You need
Two.
to know? Huh?
Two. What was your parents' name?
Well, Luana McGinnis. And didn't know my father, actually.
Okay. And your mother's genealogy? Did you know any of your grandparents or?
Oh, yeah, well, we knew my mother, my maternal grandmother, which was Valerie Crowley.
Okay.
Well, I got my last name after, I guess, the maiden name.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And so did she come from Missouri, or where was your grandmother from?
Yeah, Missouri, but I'm not sure what town in Missouri, but she was from another smaller town. I was born in Columbia, like I said, but I was raised in Excelsior Springs. Nobody's heard of those two places, probably. Or Columbia, maybe. But my grandmother was from, I can't remember the town in Missouri.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And can you go back a little further than that?
For my genealogy?
Yes.
Actually, no. I don't know much about but my grandmother. Just knew where my grandmother came from, but I didn't know the specific town. We didn't know much about the history of the family, though. My family really didn't get into that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know my ancestors were slaves in this country. And more likely we were brought over here from Africa, or sold into slavery by our brothers and sisters from Africa. Appreciate them for doing that.
So Missouri, what do you think about, how was Missouri? What type of place was Missouri for you?
Small country town. I had 10,000 people. The population was 10,000 then. It's 10,000 today. Predominantly white. A handful, maybe about 2-3% black in the town that I'm from, like Excelsior Springs, Missouri. I left there in 1975, rather abruptly, family crisis, and we relocated to Los Angeles, California in 1975, and I stayed out in California for about 20 years, journeyed all throughout California, from LA to San Diego when I went to the Marine Corps in college, and then up to Northern California, San Francisco, and Oakland. And in Oakland, where I became familiar with the Hoover movement, as a matter of fact. And that's where my journey of enlightenment began, I guess, and started to understand life from a different perspective, especially as it pertains to the black community, which we would refer to as the African community, transplanted in America.
So what would your mother say? What type of young man were you when you were growing up? What type of kid were you?
Well, I come from a broken family. I spent maybe about 3 years with my mother. Aunties pretty much raised me. My auntie and my grandmother are the ones that raised me. So, I don't know. Life was kind of traumatic back then, I guess you'd say. Mother had some difficult relationships, and we were kind of caught in the middle of it for the 3 to 4 years I think that we spent with my mother. And then, of course, when we got to Los Angeles, we were kind of inadvertently adopted by our other family members, I guess you would say.
So what type of child were you?
For me, I was a great child to me, but I mean, I didn't get in trouble much. Was studying the Bible a lot, going to church a lot, Pentecostal, and high school, and elementary and middle school and high school, did pretty good as a student. Loved history, and loved the politics and history. I believe that's what I gravitated towards.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah. We've got 3 brothers. I've got 3 brothers, younger brothers, and
so where are you in the?
I'm the oldest. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much childhood. I was a pretty good child, I guess. You know, very studious, I guess you would say. Loved to read and kind of shy at times, and then introverted at times, extroverted at other times. But for the most part, I think I just loved studying history, and that's where I got to where I'm at today.
So how did you get to, how old were you when you moved to LA?
Oh, in 1975, I was like going from the 8th to the 9th grade. I remember that distinctly because we had to take the Constitution back then, and I took it twice. I took it in Missouri, and then I took it in LA. So I went there in the 9th grade. I was 13 or 14, I think it was, in 1975 when I moved to LA. So did my junior high and high school years there, and then went to the Marine Corps and did college and Marine Corps there. So what else? Give me more. I mean, I don't know where you.
So what was LA? What was California like? Like, what was it? How was it different from Missouri for you as a child?
Oh, dramatically different. I can remember me coming from a small country town, predominantly white, moving to the metropolis of LA, predominantly black, with a black mayor. Mayor Tom Bradley was the mayor at that time. I was really impressed to see a black mayor. Never knew that black people could excel that high in the political arena. I mean, even though I kind of saw it when I was a child in Missouri, but never actually experienced it. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I was able to experience seeing a black mayor, black city council, and how I guess the black community was so much different from that which I came from in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. Remember, Excelsior Springs, Missouri, we had maybe about 150 black people in a town of 10,000. So I moved to Los Angeles, predominantly black. I didn't hardly see any white people, as a matter of fact, for the 3 years that I went to high school in LA. But it was an experience. It was really, I mean, it was uplifting in a way, but then as I grew older, I started to see some of the, even the contradiction with the black mayors, in LA specifically, but then if you look across the country, the Who movement kind of opened my eyes up to that as well by saying, you know, neo-colonialism, I guess you would say, whereas even though we have a black face in a place that used to be white, it was sometimes even got worse because the neo-colonialism is just as damaging as colonialism, I guess you would say. So,
what high school did you attend?
Manual Arts High School in Los Angeles. And then, like I said, when I graduated from there, went to the Marine Corps. But Manual Arts was an interesting high school, predominantly black. Like I said, I come from predominantly white to a predominantly black atmosphere. So, and it was the time of the Bloods and the Crips. And I never felt the importance of joining them because I always said, well, they're fighting against one another. And now this was before I was politicized. They were just fighting against one another. I had no interest in fighting against other blacks. I always said to myself, well, if I'm going to do any fighting, I'm going to do fighting against a real enemy, like maybe even this government or the money system, you know, something that's more tangible and something that's more realistic. But just killing your own people doesn't make any sense. And I think we should do more marches of killing each other than we do every time there's an inadvertent killing of us by a white cop or whatever like that. I mean, we rise up against that, but we never rise up against the so-called internal crime within our communities. So that's why I never joined the gangs in LA, and I kind of ridiculed them. As a matter of fact, my cousin was Monster Kody. He married my cousin, and he was a couple of years younger than us, coming through high school. But my cousin married him, and he became one of the leaders of the Crips out there, and me and him became acquainted. We never knew each other in high school because he's like 2 years behind us. So once I got into the Marine Corps and he got out, I moved up to Northern California, and my cousin, who had married him, introduced me to him because he's at San Quentin prison. And me and him had dialogue for a couple of years, and I was trying to convince him, look, we need to get more involved politically. We don't need to be sitting here fighting against one another. And that's what the Crips and the Bloods were doing in LA. So they were serving the interests of someone, but not just our community. That was destroying our community and serving the interests of those who want us to destroy ourselves, I believe.